Hey guys, Vass here from Aussie Playground, and welcome to another episode of RC Pit Stop. Today we're going to be working on the Cutback. Now, if you guys have been following the channel, you probably would have seen my review of this truck, and it wasn't really a very glowing review. It had quite a number of negatives. In fact, this truck is probably one that I would recommend, you know, be very mindful of what you get yourself into, because it does have a lot of limitations. There were some quality issues with it. But moving on from that, one of the things that I wanted to do with this truck is give it another chance. Some RCs, you know, when I'm done with them, I just can't wait to put them on eBay and just get rid of them. But this particular one, I don't know why, but I want to give it a second chance. I want to see if maybe if you spend a little bit of money, you might actually end up with a very good RC. And so enter this little episode of RC Pit Stop. Now, I'm going to do a couple of upgrades, and hopefully this truck performs a lot better. So very quickly, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to change. One of the first things that I'm going to be changing are the front and rear shock towers. I'm actually going to go for some carbon fiber. Now, I don't use carbon fiber in my RCs very often. I tend to upgrade them to aluminium if there is the option to do that. But this carbon fiber is about 4mm thick. It does seem to be very, very durable, very strong, and I want to give it a go. I did bend, I think, my rear shock tower, which I kind of bent back, and it's not exactly straight, it's a bit flimsy. So rather than getting another aluminium one, I decided to opt for the carbon fiber, and I'm really confident that these are going to do okay, and also hoping that they're going to do okay, I guess. And of course, one of the other things that I'm going to be changing, which is going to be something that the truck really needs, are the shocks. Now, the shocks are available from Tower Hobbies as an option. You have these aluminium bodied shocks, and I'll leave the model numbers on the video description for you guys to check out, or you can pause the video right there. But these are the front and rear shocks. You of course have to put them together. You do have to build them, and then of course fill them up with some oil. I'm going to go for the 40 weight oil. I'm going to go front and rear on these and just see how it goes. If I find that I need to tune them up a little bit, well, you know, I can always swap two of the shocks around for something else. I do have other oil here, but 40 weight is what I'm going to be using for the time being. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and basically strip the truck down. Well, first of all, I'm going to build the shocks, then I'll strip it down and start installing all these components, and yeah, just show you the finished product, and then we'll get out there and do some more running videos. Okay, so I've had to stop the video here for a little bit because I've come across a few problems with these shocks, and I'm going to be contacting Tower Hobbies about them, because I really don't think that the shocks are supposed to be the way that they are. First off, once you have your piston assembled on your shock and you feed it through the bottom hole here, you'll notice there's actually quite a lot of slack, and the hole is actually a lot bigger than the shock shaft itself. So that leaves a lot of room for the oil to escape from on the bottom of the shock. Of course, you're always going to need to have a little bit of slack, but I think this is a bit too much. Now, they give you these 4 little rubber rings that are supposed to go around the shock shaft and kind of seal, create kind of a seal for the oil not to escape from the bottom. But as you can see, these rings, these rubber rings, are not right. They're way oversized, and they're actually the exact same ones that I found on the center differential. So I'm starting to think if maybe these rings are a mistake and they've just packaged the wrong ones for these shocks, because I do believe that these are the same ones as found on the center drive shaft. So how do you seal these shock shafts? Well, what I've done with these particular shocks, and another thing that I found as well, is that they give you this top rubber ring, which is supposed to go on the top half of the shock here. So it'll go like that. And the problem that we have is that it's very loose. So when you go to tighten up the shock cap, this will just kind of escape off to the side and kind of come out like that. You have to be very, very gentle screwing it in so that it actually stays in there like this. And I found that you can actually tighten these all the way to the bottom even without the little rubber washer, and they work just as fine. So how I've built these two shocks, which I think these are the rear, I can't quite remember, but how I've built those is I actually got myself some nitro fuel tubing. So this tubing that I have is actually a perfect fit for these shock shafts. The fits in there nice and snug. It needs to be about 4 millimeters long or so. And what I've done is there is a little plastic washer that kind of goes in first. So you need to push this guy all the way down to the bottom first. And then you're supposed to put one of these little rubber washers. So I'll go ahead and put one of these in there, even though it's not going to do anything for me. And then I have gone and put my nitro fuel tubing. So that will go in like so. And we'll slowly push all of that towards the bottom here. If I can get it in all the way. There we go. So that will go in like that. And then if I want, I can put the other rubber little grommet on top there. And then this one is supposed to go on top, which has a little bit of a step in it. And I don't know if the camera will focus in on this, but it's not a complete flat washer. It's got a little bit of a step. So this guy will go on top, and you kind of squeeze everything in there, make it all nice and squishy. And then, whoops, lost one. Then this guy will actually go in and tighten everything and keep everything from sort of leaking out. So that's the idea. And it does take a little bit of, because I've got so much rubber in there now, it creates a bit of force, which is great. And now I have a fairly good seal, and you can see the shaft doesn't really wobble around all that much anymore, which is great. So I'm going to do these without this rubber washer because it really serves no purpose other than getting in the way. So I'll be getting rid of this. I'm going to be using my nitro fuel tubing, which is what I've done with these ones. But of course I don't hold much hope for this. I don't think that this is the way that it's supposed to be done, and there's a good chance that I'm going to be leaking oil from the back or the bottom of the shock here, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to continue building these, and yeah, then I'll start stripping the truck, put those shock towers in, and move on to putting the shocks into the truck as well. And yeah, we'll do a running video of it, but see how much oil will actually stay in here once we're done. So yeah, I'm going to keep going. guys, now this is day 2. I was just looking at the truck very quickly, and I was packing everything up, and I realized that the problem that I was having on the bottom of these shocks with the little rubber washers and everything not being able to fit, and fabricating my own, and it wasn't really working very well, because every time I compressed the shock, a little bit of oil came out, and I wasn't happy with it all. And then I came up with the idea, which was pretty obvious, you know, why not strip the original shocks for these little rubber washers and put them on the new shocks. So that's exactly what I've done. Now I've already swapped out my front ones, and it works beautifully. I'm really happy with that. So I'm just doing the rears, and as you pull these out, you'll see the order that they're in, which was a little bit different than what I was doing. So you've actually got one of the rubber washers first, then the little plastic washer goes in between, and then you have another rubber washer, and then the little end bit goes there, then you put your cap over the top. So I'm going to quickly take this off, and I'm going to show you just a comparison between what was supplied with these upgraded shocks and what is actually supposed to be supplied. So hopefully you guys can see, whoops, one of the little bits just fell out, but that's okay. So you can see these are the ones that were in the original shock. You can see how much thicker they are, and these are the ones that were supplied with the upgraded shock. So these are just the little bits of nitro fuel tubing that I try to make work, but wasn't really. So yeah, this is what should have been supplied. I'm going to finish off the 2 rear shocks now, and hopefully the truck will work properly, or at least the suspension anyway, and shouldn't give me any dramas. I do like, I mean, to give you guys a bit of an idea, I like these shocks. I like the way that they look. The aluminium feels very good. Even the plastic actually feels fairly decent as well. Unfortunately, you know, it's just these little finishing touches that need to be addressed by whoever makes them, whether it be Tower Hobbies or Alloy Force, as it is printed there on the shock itself. They just need to sort out these rubbers, and I think we'll be fine. And these will actually be decent shocks to get, but at the moment I can't really recommend them, because you have to be, you know, kind of stripping out the old shocks, and if you want to get these for a different truck or something, it's just, it doesn't seem to be right. I think they need to refine this a little bit, and then we'll be good to go. But other than that, you know, I do like the quality of them. I mean, the aluminium and everything feels very, very nice. So I'm going to leave it here. I've done enough talking. Stay tuned for the running video. Thank you again for watching, and I will speak to you next time.